Get ready to be mind blown. And now for today's hashtag Lane Hack with Just the Tip. Run, don't walk your way to simplepassivecashflow.com and sign up for the Hui Pipeline Club and get in on the deal flow.
Today I wanted to talk about some computer shortcuts and tips that I picked up along the way. First thing is to make sure that you guys have turned off your notifications. The Toyota production system came up with this idea of push and pull workflow. When these notifications come on your phone, these things are pushed to you. What you want to do is to set up your notifications so that you're pulling them. For example, you go into your email when you have time to check your email and you pull them, as opposed to stuff cramming in your face. So if you're one of those people who's got that little annoying thing on the bottom right hand corner whenever you got an email, you need to turn that off, because despite what you think, it's getting in your way and it's distracting you. Next thing, if you're one of those people who gets really preoccupied, constantly checking Facebook or doing something else on their computer, consider using the full screen mode to hide other things that may tempt you to procrastinate and to do something else. The next tip is to use the Control T and F function, in addition to the Control C and Control V and Control X. So the X, C, and V options are obviously cut, paste, and copy. Now, if you're someone who goes up to the edit and press paste, copy, I mean, you guys are just wasting your time. You guys need to get used to these shortcuts. When you're in your Internet Explorer or your Chrome or your Firefox, use the Control T to pull up a new tab to start the next browsing session. And you can also use the Control F to find whatever you're looking for in the web page or document. Now get creative with this. If you're looking for a certain item, you even use numbers, or you can even use certain words to guide you through quickly reading through a document. The next tip is a Pandaromo. Now you can Google what exactly this is, but as you're working throughout the day, it's been found that you can't really work continuously for 8 hours. I mean, that's why we take breaks. But some dude out there did the study where the optimal time is to use this 20-minute timer with a 5 to 10-minute break. Or another version of this is a 47-minute timer with a 13-minute break. The idea is you're working in sprints as opposed to the cross-country runner method. Go to kit.com/simplepassivecashflow for a timer that I use. And there's other cool productivity tools on that website too. Again, that's kit.com/simplepassivecashflow. One thing I've been doing with this timer is I put it on the top of my cell phone for 20 minutes. What I've noticed is that I have this habit, or addiction if you call it, to reach over and just play with my phone and do something. So at least with this timer on top of my phone, it reminds me that I need to do what I need to do. And hey, it's only 20 minutes, so it gives me an incentive just to buckle down, because I can do anything for 20 minutes. We talk a lot about syndications on this podcast, and most of the time, these offers are only for those with an accredited status per the rules of the SEC. Now sponsoring the Simple Passive Cashflow podcast is the American Homeowner Preservation Fund, a crowdfunding solution to the mortgage crisis in America, empowering investors to fund the purchase of distressed mortgages. The AHP fund aims to keep people in their homes by investing in notes. It's an opportunity to earn returns while feeling good about making positive social impact. You can start investing with as little $100. You can learn more at investinahp.com, and if you want the free Burn Zone book, please send me an email at lane@simplepassivecashflow.com. Next thing is email. Now, email is a very archaic system these days. I mean, look at most people. They have thousands and thousands of unread email. And unfortunately, even if you're very good at email and you get a lot of things done, you follow the GTD methodology, you have to deal with these people at some point. Now, it's been said that if you have to email someone, you're not close enough to them. Other options are Facebook Messenger, chat. I think the thing about email that I don't like is you always have to put the subject line that I don't really think people really read. And another thing, it just gets put on top of the pile. The next tip comes from Tim Ferriss, where he says to check your email only a few times a day. Working at my job, I find that some days I get sick and I come back to the work the next day to all these email messages. And one thing I found is that it seems like the issues work themselves out. Now, an email comes in, inevitably it gets sent to 5 to 8 people, and then there's this quick race to see who can answer it first. And then after a couple hours, everybody forgot about that email thread because it either got solved or it wasn't even important to begin with. Tim Ferriss recommends checking his email once a day at noon. Now, for some of us, it's just not practical to do that. But I think the important thing is just try not to have it up on your screen at all times. I mean, maybe check it 4 times a day, or even 2 times a day, or even at the top of every hour if you're so inclined. Every time we switch our intention, it takes us that much longer to get into what we were doing. There were studies that said that it takes a couple minutes to get back to what you were doing. A lot of us are hired to do professional activities and to do deep work, and if you're constantly being interrupted, it's impossible to get what you need done. The last tip today is a discussion on your overall goals. And to sustain these goals, you need to define what they are and to stick to them. There's a saying that for everything you say yes to, whether it's a lunch date, going out to this wine party, or going to the soccer game, just taking a walk, is something that you're saying no to, that maybe could be more important and aligned to your goals. And we all come to the beginning of the year or even the beginning of the month and we look at our goals and this is what we want. But if we're constantly filling our time with other things, then we're not consciously achieving our goals. This is inevitably called resistance, and this is the stuff that gets in the way of achieving what we really want. Just be a little cognizant of what we're saying yes to and what we're saying no to.
The preceding Lane Hack was approved by Lane Kawaoka, an efficiency and productivity expert, traditionally educated with a BS in industrial engineering, masters in civil engineering and construction management, and professionally licensed engineer in Washington State, with over a decade of in-field experience, supervising construction crews and managing over $100 million capital projects in both bureaucratic public and cutthroat private sectors. And by the way, every situation is different, and remember to think for yourself.